I haven't done commentaries for a couple of weeks. I'm doubtless out of practice. Let me ease into it by speaking to four separate items. First, in the United States, over the last couple of years, there's been this endless preoccupation with sexual violence in the military. And Canada always self-consciously and smugly felt we were immune, and now we've had an investigation over the last 8 months, a journalistic investigation showing hundreds of cases of sexual assault in the military over the course of a year, averaging roughly 5 cases of sexual abuse every day. It's always a mistaken mythology to think that sexual violence only occurs in countries in conflict or in the developing world. Canada is no more immune from it than anywhere else on the globe. Number two, using the military and taking it further into a kind of military-industrial complex, if I may take that phrase from Dwight Eisenhower, there is a new study out from Australia, the Institute of Economics and Peace, showing that if you factor in the year 2012, all of the armaments, all of the militaries, all of the preparations for war, all of the sales of military weaponry, it amounts to $9.5 trillion of expenditure. Not billion, but trillion. I don't even know what that means, except to say that it's $1,300 for every man, woman, and child on the planet annually. Now, if that money were used for good purposes, if, for example, for food aid or peacekeepers, you might bring the genocides in the Central African Republic and South Sudan to an end, you could pay for the next set of sustainable development goals, you would have the resources to combat effectively HIV and AIDS. And talking about HIV and AIDS, there is also in the last couple of weeks a new survey out from South Africa which deals with the behavioral and prevalence rates and incidence rates of HIV in that vortex where over 6 million people are infected. And the usual stuff emerges, more and more people going into treatment and therefore fewer numbers of deaths. But there are two dimensions which are particularly worrisome and grating. Number one, the numbers of people with disabilities who are particularly vulnerable. And number two, the orphans. It emerges that if a child has lost one parent, that child is 3.5 times as susceptible to infection. And if they've lost both parents, they're 7 times as susceptible to infection. And yet orphans have fallen off the international agenda. You see, everything has to do with health. That's what preoccupies everyone as we move past the year 2015. And so there are endless conferences. I was invited to one just a couple of weeks ago. It's being sponsored in the United States by a consortium of schools of public health with a couple of think tanks. And the flyer came along. And on the flyer it had 4 keynote speakers, all men. It had 22 featured speakers, 19 men. Out of the 26 people featured in the flyer, 23 men and 3 women. It is really obnoxious and offensive, all of the loss of the knowledge and the expertise and the capacity of fully half the world's population to deal with these issues. Oh my God, these mind-numbing men, these Olympian minds of men. You want to know something about those minds? They're as large as pebbles. That was the last 2 weeks. I'm Stephen Lewis.